Hey, how's my sound? Eh?
Perfect.
Uh,
Chris.
I do have a little fan under desk. It
Oh,
makes little hum noise.
right. I turned mine off. Yeah.
Should I turn mine off? Okay, tell me if you can hear a difference. Oh, that's up. That gotta go down.
Not at all. Nothing.
Nothing? Okay, cool. I also have like a shit ton of mosquitoes in my house for some reason.
Hmm.
And I'm not too keen on that. So if you see flies, I'm trying to get them out. Uh,
Yeah.
I have literally been murdering like dozens of mosquitoes in my own house.
Dude, nice setup.
Thanks, man.
I got this little I'm trying to get this to work and I'm like sitting here fighting with this thing.
That
And
thing.
dude.
Hey, little thing. Hold it up to the camera. Hold it up to the camera. You. You. Yeah, bud. Yeah, but I'm so excited. You're not. Are you recording? You are recording.
Yes. Yep.
All right. So is this like Mark Maron's What the podcast? We'll just go.
Less familiar with that one. I know it
All right.
exists, but I haven't
All right,
watched
bud.
it. But
All right, bud. I mean, he's the
Rogan.
god of
Rogan.
Rogan. Yeah, Rogan's where it's at.
Yeah.
But you need to check out What the with Mark Maron.
I should. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think with all the F-bombs in the beginning, maybe I don't know, you can cut that shit out. I don't know. I didn't know we were going hot.
Oh.
I didn't know we were coming in hot.
I should have told you. I should have warned you.
You should have.
Yeah.
Because I thought maybe we could, chill a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh. Oh, I can't. I just did outside.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. I'm glad I didn't show any. I'm glad I didn't show my hand.
Legal in both states, Michigan and Oregon. So you're
Michigan.
welcome if you want to.
I will not partake. Collin, I'm really nervous about this being in the actual podcast.
Are you?
Yeah.
Turn your seat around so I don't see it.
No. Like we've already talked about things.
Oh.
Heavy things, man. Things, things I don't know if I'm ready to put out there. You know what I'm saying? All right, hold on. Let me get
clean shaven.
Clean shaven.
You look 27.
That's great. I'm glad you said that. Glad you said that, Collin. I am not 27.
Right. Yeah.
I'm a little older, a little wiser, but thank you. Yeah, I used to have the no shave before.
Yes.
And I was rocking the stash and goat for a hot minute.
So it was stylish. It was a stylish.
Yeah, I mean, it was iconically me.
Yes. Yeah.
Totally. Like what I was going with was like, yeah, it's Jonathan. I mean, like everybody knows that. But I feel like during quarantine, very specifically during quarantine, I was like, I'm very tired of this face. I need to see something different.
Sure.
So in an effort to change things up underneath the quarantine, I self-barbered, committed an act of self-barbery.
Right. So did I today.
I like it. I mean, you've always been babyface Everett to me.
Yeah, definitely. So, I've gotten from like a manager at work. It was super scruffy because it was like once every few weeks I would like shave. I was so lazy about it, so it would get scruffy, and I hate it. I hate how it looks. It looks really unmade. That's
yeah. I get that, and I like when this like the chin strap like does very well, Yeah. But I don't want the gamer geek neck beard. I don't want that going.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't look great. I tried to grow it out for a few months in November, like 1 month over November, and I didn't get very far.
Sure.
In 1 month, and so I'm like, God did not see fit to grant this face the luscious beard that I wish could grow forth from its pores. But maybe I'll just go clean shaven, and then I think it works.
Yeah. I was just thinking that as I was shaving today, something along those lines. This face was just not meant for a beard.
Yeah, I get it, and I like it, and I get my I get my family curls. This is my heritage, my heirloom.
Yeah,
curls. So, are you seeing these mosquitoes?
No, they're like raindrops on film.
Come on, you didn't see that? That thing was huge. Well, now you're making me feel like I'm going crazy.
Okay,
No,
I saw one.
definitely
Saw one just now.
I have a fly. Okay, I'm gonna look crazy in your podcast.
I saw
Trying
one.
to snatch. I'm trying to like Mr. Miyagi this.
Right, you gotta. Yeah.
I feel like I didn't get him. Sorry, but I felt like for a second that I did the wax on.
Yes.
The Daniel's son.
Yeah.
I'm trying not to get the glare in the glasses, buddy. You gotta see my eyes. You gotta know I'm telling you the truth.
Yeah, like dampening. No, the
you're so smart.
But then you can't really see me, but also it's my fucking podcast.
And I like seeing you, Collin.
Yeah.
You're one of my favorite faces to see.
Really?
Your face, like you exude joy and like jolliness. Like Collin, you have always been a source of like pure fun. Pure fun, Collin, you are. Yeah. And so like every time I see your face, I'm like, yeah, it's fun. Everything's gonna be fun. Sure. Everything's gonna be fine.
I am very curious as to how this August 5 years. It's been
man.
You have graduated.
That is true. Well, you were in that lineup too, weren't you?
I was, but then I went right back for
the Bachelors. Yeah. You went that route. How'd you feel? I should ask you that, but this is your podcast. Should I interview you?
Whatever. Like there have been friends who have totally like taken over the questions and asked. Johnny asked a lot of questions. And
nice.
I'm totally okay with.
I am curious about you and your life as well.
Sure.
But I think you're a little more public on social media, so it's been easier to track you.
Yeah,
definitely. I keep to the shadows.
You do.
Yeah. You do. I'm very free with like talking about
keep to the shadows.
Keep to the shadows. Yeah. What we do in the shadows. Come here.
I love the mic. That's a great.
Yeah, it's just, to me, it's a prop that I can just not lean on like physically, but lean on emotionally. I have something.
Yeah.
I have something. It's like, yeah, this is good right here.
Yeah.
Also, what was it? Where we're going with this? 5 years ago. In the time between, huh?
Yes. I just got into this actually very in detail with Jalon.
Oh.
So
Mr. Jalon, I love that guy.
Yeah, dude, great episode. And we had to talk for like half an hour after the it wasn't half an hour, but after the podcast. We sat and talked and reconnected and just like opened up conversation that otherwise did not happen on camera.
Sure. Yeah.
And we even talk about the comfortability with that difference between the recording sign and not.
Yeah. Well, that's why I wish you had told me we were coming in hot, so I wouldn't drop so many bad words. Sure. Adult language. I got to represent for the people out there. I still live underneath a little bit of the self-religious pressure, if you know what I'm talking about.
100%.
Yeah.
Do I know what you're talking about?
I have that to me is the most interesting thing for me to talk about in my life, is that kind of like spiritual journey that I've been on the last few years. 5 years ago, I was married.
Yeah.
And no longer. Yeah. And that's been a harrowing journey. Lots of darkness. Yeah. But there's beauty in the rock bottom. There's beauty in the pain. There's beauty in the what feels like torture.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think my faith, I think God himself stepped into my life in a big way. Like, I've always been like a believer. I'm raised in the church, very traditional, all that kind of stuff. But I think sometimes that comes at a detriment to the actual individual. You know, you get, you know what I mean? This is where my life's at, so this is where I go when I talk to people. Because I think
I have a physical reaction to that because you are only speaking for me. Yeah. These are my thoughts too.
Well, I think these are a lot of people's thoughts. And what helps me is finding people who have kind of walked through this journey. They have some language, that like vocabulary, like to help like latch onto, that helps like kind of push push your thinking forward. I think what happened to me through the result of what I went through, trauma and tragedy and things like that. I think people who go through that, you can go a couple different ways from it. But I was like, I think like from what I knew of my faith to be true, and what I knew from what I wanted out of that faith. And I think Christians have a hard time like claiming what we're allowed to claim, like, and believe what we're actually allowed to believe from the source, because the institution likes to. People want rules. People want to follow something. People want like a checkbox to feel good about. I do. Like, I like lists. I like order. I like to know tasks and things like that. And I like to check stuff off. So the church is a really good way to feel good about your religion, if that's what you're doing, if that's what you want. I didn't want that. I wanted the real thing. And I didn't want to hide behind, a structure that somebody's created. And I think there are structures that have been created for us that are healthy and good to practice. But I'm a rebellious spirit. I want to push back. If somebody's going to tell me something, I want to know why.
Yeah.
Because I'm smart enough to figure it out for myself. And I do that a lot now. If you need something, if you want something, if the onus is on you, you got to do it. You got to seek it. You got to go for it. Dude. And I was just tired of feeling like I was just here to be used on this planet by people.
Yeah.
Right. And I didn't even want to feel like I was being used by God, because that's what it can get to. And I'm like, I know that's not true. I know that there's something bigger than just this feeling of like not good enough. And so like the last 5 years, Collin, have been like this harrowing journey of like giving up on the bullshit and pushing into the real, like what's real, what's true. And that journey has been really peaceful. That journey has brought me through a lot of darkness, have pointed out the things in my life, my past, that I have done wrong. And so it's like, there's nobody to blame but yourself for some things, for most things, because you're the only one there in your life all the time. Sorry, dude, I can get going. You want me to get going? I can just riff. It's just there. I want to talk about this.
Yeah, because I remember meeting with you at Big B, which I think is the only time that I have connected with you since graduation.
Yeah, bro. I remember that.
Yeah, and we had the same talk, and at the time in my life, I felt like I went from being behind the curve emotionally, especially when it came to maturity. I was so immature going to school. I didn't know what credits were. That's just like a small little, like, I didn't know how to view people of other walks as human beings also. But I feel like I've gone from behind the curve to now somewhat ahead of the curve with my maturity, like ahead of my own age, to where I feel like even though you've advanced me in age and experience in many ways, I feel like there's still a really strong connect and almost like parallel living. I haven't been through a divorce, but I've been through my own choices that have caused me to experience a lot of hardship and pain.
Yeah.
Same with what I can imagine a marriage would also bring, choices that you've made in a marriage. Yeah. Treatment of this person.
Sure.
Reaction.
Absolutely. And like, I hopefully you get to keep some semblance of humility going through these things. Because that's really been the key to my recovery from all this like nonsense, this craziness that life can be. But now it's like, dude, life is meant to be enjoyed. Life is meant to take in the small things and like the whimsical things and the fun things, the things that tickle your fancy, whatever that be. Yeah. Like life is meant for that. Life is meant to be enjoyed. And I wasn't enjoying life. And I was like, this is not true living. Mm-hmm. I want to live true. And but I also know that my faith is true. And I want to live out that faith. I want to live out that faith authentically, the way I believe I'm meant to live it out. And it like, I don't want to live contradictory to what I believe. Well, I live by the word, the Bible. Mm-hmm. That like how I understand things and the things that I used to believe or hold strong to, some things have completely faded away. Yeah. Some things have altered a little bit because of new insight and revelation. Mm-hmm. And other things have like resolved even more firm in my mind. But I think like for the first time in my life, I'm authentically living the person I'm supposed to be. And I'm authentically living out the faith that I have. And man, it's good. Good. It's just like whole. You feel whole when you're true, when you're being authentic and you live according to your just being genuine. Mm-hmm. And then I think empathy is huge too. Mm-hmm. I think being able to understand your position among the billions of other people on this planet, keeping that into perspective keeps you small, so you don't get too big in your own head. Good stuff.
I love to hear and from the times that we have connected over phone calls or texting or messaging, it's always been with great rapport. I consider
well, dude, you've like I think I've told you before, like I will always answer a Collin Everett message.
Sure. Yes.
For sure. 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Same.
You're one of my dudes, man. I'm not gonna drop you.
Yeah.
Just don't drop me, okay?
Yeah, no.
Colin, I need you in my life.
Yeah. Yeah. Dude, you are podcast number 17.
Yeah. Cool. That's awesome.
And probably 4 or 5 of those people are people from over here that you wouldn't know. So most of the people
from school in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Yes. Yeah.
Cool. I've experienced a spark of passion in me to reconnect with. The reason that I stayed in film school was because of these people. And so even though I'm not physically with these people anymore, it's still important to be attached to them. And
yeah, for sure.
And you are absolutely a contact that professionally and personally I would never want to lose. And I keep
good, man, because we're gonna go big one day, bud.
Yeah,
and I do mean that. Like I haven't lost that itch. And I'm working on things that scratch. I'm working on things that are scratching that. And that I haven't dropped that dream.
Totally.
And I've been like building on it, so it's good. It's good. Dreams take a while though.
Yeah, they do.
And they should drive you.
People that are encouraging to me, Ricky Gervais, Samuel L. Jackson, J.K. Simmons. Were not on screen until their 40s.
There you go.
That's like.
Well, I'm getting up there, but I'm 33. Might be a minute.
That only excites me for you because I believe that time is coming.
When you said I look 27, so like if I get into acting late, I'll be able to play my 30s when I'm in my 40s. Like great.
Yeah. You could do your own podcast. You could do stand up. I have. I saw that one. I saw that mosquito.
I don't want to say anything. I just want to make sure you saw it, so it's real. I'm not just seeing things. It's so easy for me to get hyped on an idea. And the thing about ideas is they're cheap. Everybody has them. Everybody has a million ideas. Cheap. Like people say, "Oh, he's an idea man." It's like everybody's an idea man. You can have your car's tires being rotated. You're talking to the mechanic who's just sitting there watching the other guy do it, and he'll just sit there and he'll give you every idea that it is in his head. If you're just sitting there, So like ideas are cheap. So for me, it's like I've had the idea to like, hey, I want to do a podcast. Hey, I want to start doing like a YouTube channel and things like that. Things that I see people that I admire and look up to, like really doing some cool stuff on these platforms. I'm like, yeah, I want to get in that. I want to bite in on that.
Yeah.
But I'm also like, I have a professional life that keeps me pretty wrapped up in things, and I like to do more tactile things. I keep the guitar nearby.
Yes.
I'm always dinking on that. I like to get away from the screens and have something like tangible, and so that's been a really good loop. And like I'm doing sketch art a lot now too, writing, just whatever.
Good. What are you writing?
Well, nothing specific. Like just I'm trying to write some music for sure.
Good.
I've never written a song myself, and I'm actually pretty close to having some things ready for that. So that's kind of a bigger endeavor. I am doing, Collin, you would be proud of me. I started there it is. You saw that, right?
I
didn't get it, folks. You need to have like a mosquito snatching counter, like mosquito 3, Jonathan nothing.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
Little tally.
Yeah.
I just wanted to fly right here so I can go right on camera.
Dude, you will get one during this.
I think I will. Just
dude, I remember fire. You have such an incredible singing voice. Well, you really do. I remember hearing you sing randomly. I don't remember where it was, but I heard you sing and I was like, bro! Oh, you know where it was? It was Soundstage.
Yeah. Was it the green screen day?
Green screen or sound. We had boom mics. And okay. I remember hearing, I sang into the microphone, and I thought, like, oh, that was, and then you and Matt Horling.
Yeah, my buddy Matt. Yeah.
Took turns and sang, and I was like, all right. I think I walked away. Just like,
oh, yeah, you were a little hurt?
Yeah.
Had your feelings hurt?
Yeah.
Well, here's the secret. Have your dad be a choir instructor when you're 4 and grow up in the church singing.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah. So, Little Black Submarines by the Black Keys.
For sure.
If it's wrong, somebody's going to yell at me. I love that song because it starts off with like some acoustical picking, and it's like, it's like he's up there, he's down there, he's all over. It feels good. And then all of a sudden it's like hard guitar, like, and it's just rocking.
Totally.
And so you get lost in the acoustic, and he's like sorting through some things, so you're kind of in a mood. Yeah. And it's like, it's so good too. And so like every once in a while, you gotta let some of the rage emotions out in a very safe manner. And usually it's like that or like Metallica.
Well, check this out. The Black Keys gave me some of the best advice that I've had given to me in the past year. And he was on Rogan, and they were talking, and he, the lead of the Black Keys, was talking about having his girlfriend on tour with them and how dependent he was on her being there and how destructive her being there was.
Oh, no.
And then he's at the very end of the podcast, I think Rogan says, "What's some advice you give to the listeners?" And he goes, I don't even remember the first couple of things he said, but the last thing he said was, and don't have a girlfriend till your late 20s. And I went, whoa.
I think there's wisdom in that for sure. Man, I just know where I've been, where I was at, where your mind's at, and how it's forming in your 20s still. And I really didn't feel like I feel like I have a grasp on my life, but like life in general, man, I don't think I started to really move in my brain towards better maturity until I hit like 28.
Wow.
And then it was like, all right, because you got the arrogance in your like early 20s. and you move through your 20s, and it's like you're experiencing what the 20s are like, and the 20s are great. But you hit 28, for me at least, right before your 30s, you're approaching that 30 mark, and if you're an introspective person, I'm a very in my head person, so
yes,
my brain's always going. But like at 28, it was like took a little more stock, like thinking about it a little more heavier, and I was going to school at the same time, and so I think it was just you had to level up, right? But yeah, that was crazy time. But yeah, the whole girlfriend thing, I think dating's great, and I love love. I love when people like share authentically in that, can be romantic, could be friendship, can be whatever. And I don't think relationships should be scary. I think people are too scared of stuff, and I think the reason why he would say something like that is because you really should know yourself a lot more uh, than like dating, like than you do when you're 18 and like trying to date. And if you're serious about things, maybe you're looking for marriage or whatever. Um, you have to really get to know who you are and be okay with you, and be okay with like existing with you.
Yeah.
I was actually I watched the Matthew McConaughey speech when he accepted the Oscar for Dallas Buyers Club.
Okay, I know I saw it at one point.
It's a great speech, and he said some things in there that really like hit home and like impacted. He like talk about like gaining vocabulary to help propel you forward, gaining like an understanding. And whenever I hear people who've been through stuff talk about what they've been through, it helps me like be able to define things clear in my life. And so Matthew McConaughey, the only connection I have from him is like, all right,
Yeah.
His movies and his the things that he likes to do. I get him, and I love watching him. But he says this speech, and he's a man of faith, and he's a family man, and he's a successful celebrity entertainer, and he had some really good words. He talked about God, like having a friend in God. But always like he said, like when you have a friend in God, he teaches you that you do have a friend in yourself. He said something to that kind of effect. And I thought that was really great. Like, I think you need to be in a place where you like who you are and what you're doing. And if you don't like something about what you do or how you do it, then acknowledge that and like change, like become the person that feels authentic to you. Now, for me, my faith was not instrumental. It was like paramount. It was like the only thing that really taught me like like where I fit in the world, and like who I am to the one I have a relationship with, and then who I am in a relationship to myself.
Yeah.
And so I started to understand who I am, and the things that I'm a hopeless romantic. I could the term is limerence. I'm prone to limerence. Like just I'm the like I wanted to be a Disney princess, not really, but like like I wanted to be in that romantic fairy tale thing. I wanted to be Prince Charming and like sweep in and that kind of stuff. But that is a very it's tempting to like live in those moments and those thoughts and run away with them. But I learned that what you do in your mind exists in your mind only. And so reality doesn't play out that way. And so I would keep setting myself up and expectations, and then reality wouldn't hit. And so and what I'm getting at is if you're existing with yourself and you figure out some things that feel wrong, but to be okay things, like it's not wrong to be a hopeless romantic, but it's wrong to allow it to damage me. And I've allowed it to damage me. But I found that like through talking with God and my relationship there, the love that I have, the love that I want to give is a really good thing. It's a really good thing. And I used to hate it because it seemed like it would push people away. But I started accepting it. and like I started really appreciating that I had this like goofy love, kind of wanting that have that personality. Like I want to love you, I want to jump on you, Collin, and like I want to hug you and like bear wrestle you, and like I want to love you, right? That's the kind of person I am.
Yeah.
And so it's nice to accept that and like be cool with that, like, and like not let that embarrass me anymore where it would before. And I think going back to the dating thing, I think if you can get up to a point where you like yourself and you're cool with yourself, and you're a work in progress, but like you're aware, you're self-aware, and I think that goes a long way. And I think until you get there, it's hard to share with somebody else. It's hard to share a life with somebody else if you really don't know yourself and accept yourself. Yeah. So 26, 28, probably a good time because you're that's where your brain's going.
Yes. Yeah.
And some early, it's not like it's not a. Yeah, I know people in their 20s who are just, like young 20s who like get stuff, and I'm like, man, I wish I had that. I was do the old man thing. I wish I had that when I was your age.
Right.
So, maturity. I don't think maturity knows any age. I think maturity is its own self.
Yeah.
Its own thing.
I am. Oh, dude, like heard. That is a word that Matthew McConaughey has taught me. When something inside me has been freshly articulated by somebody else in something that I couldn't have said until maybe I'm your age.
I don't know, man.
Heard is the heaviest word that I've found, because that you spoke so much truth, and hopefully other people aren't, this type of conversation runs a risk of boring people, but not me. It's the most like, how could you skip over this? This is so like volatile.
Well, that's where I'm at, like at 33, and like that's why I like talking about it, because it's like learning these things has been so helpful for me. And it's like I'm not meant to lock this away and not share, at least when people are interested, not being available to it when people are interested in hearing it. It probably can borderline be boring, and I hope it's not. I think here's what I think. I think truth is truth regardless of who's delivering it. Truth always speaks for itself. Like authentic, true, genuine things always speaks for itself. And so if anything, I like the idea of being a conduit for that truth.
Yeah.
And not like, it's not mine. I figured some stuff out. So
whether or not it was a divine gifting, because I don't. Okay, so my eyes have never. God has never allowed for my eyes to be shut to Him.
Yeah.
Even in times of not caring, not thinking, not praying, not. It's crazy how much it cannot be a part of my day.
Sure. Yeah.
Any sort of like, I forget to look up in that regard. And
I hear you. Yeah.
When I start to look up and start to come closer to the light, to that lifestyle, to that mindset, it's a heart mindset transition. I noticed that the darkness, my weaknesses, are attacked a little bit more out of the threat of the light. It's almost like there's a game of tug of war against me. I'm in the middle, and when this darkness grip starts to slip a little bit, it starts to really, really pull back. And
dude.
Dude,
and he's crushed, and he's dead, and he's no longer a servant of the devil.
Are you serious?
There's mosquitoes? Yeah, I killed him. Yeah, yeah.
Good.
So that's one down, 2 to go.
Nice.
but they seem to be chilling for now, so they might not bother us.
Good.
But I was tired of it flying in front of the screen. I was like, that's not cool.
Right. I think it was one. He was the bravest one. And he just
he's mocking us.
Right.
Mm-hmm. The little guy.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. I live in a beautiful spot in northern Michigan, a town called Kalkaska.
Okay.
And out my backyard is like wide open for like a mile or two. Damn. With like patchwork. That was a fly. Now I got a fly in here.
Yeah, I saw.
It's like I got the wrong kind of menagerie. I got a menagerie of insects, 6-legged creatures that want to destroy and consume. What was I saying? Oh yeah. So my backyard is what I just touched the fly. The backyard. This is great, guys. This is really great for the audio listeners. If you haven't picked up yet, anybody who's listening on the audio, I am fighting. I'm fighting a battle of life and death between a swarm of mosquitoes and a single fly. I think maybe the fly's the captain.
Yeah.
And he's just like calling the troops. He just keeps buzzing around my head.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to add a buzzing sound effect every time it passes.
But like you hear that in cartoons. Like growing up, you hear like that sound or whatever.
Yeah.
And you're like, what does that? That just seems like maybe it's played up a little bit. That sound effect. But have you ever had a mosquito on your ear?
Yep.
It sounds exactly like the cartoon.
Yeah.
Like props to 1970s Looney Tunes sound designers, right?
Seriously. I know.
Was it Looney Tunes? Is that the 70s?
Looney Tunes was it was probably 60s.
That's all, folks. You know?
Did you know that Mel Blanc was in a horrible car accident? And then he was in a coma, and they coaxed him out of a coma by asking Bugs Bunny questions or Daffy Duck questions.
Interesting.
He would end up responding in the voices and then came out of a coma.
Wow.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
There's something, wow. Like they connected with him on like a subconscious level.
Right.
Oh. 2 down.
Nice.
Oh, 3 down.
Wow.
They're just yeah. It's like I'm like King Leonidas against the army of, the Babylonians or whatever it was. Persia, which Persia is like Babylonia is ancient Persia, from what I understand. Somebody can fact check me, but I'm pretty sure that's true. Anyway, so back to my backyard.
Yeah.
And my battle against mosquitoes. If I have the door, I let my dog out and I'll leave the door open, and I forget it's now the bog season, because beyond my backyard, beyond that nice clearing, is like swampland. And swampland is just like they proliferate mosquitoes and all the foul things. So.
And did you mention that you're moving? You're selling?
Yes. So, things are in flux right now, in good ways, very good ways. And the intention was to move closer to the bigger town, which is Traverse City, Michigan.
Sure.
It's a tourist town. If you've been here, people usually fall in love with it. But I do a lot of work in town. Most of my social life is in Traverse City.
Sure.
And so my thought was to sell and move inward. But other things can change too. So.
Yeah, totally.
So it's a little weird. I love it though. I have 5 acres in this country area. I have like old apple trees that produce fruit every year.
Wow.
And I get to eat off the tree.
Yeah.
It's very it feels very like that. I don't know, that magical country lifestyle. Like a banjo picking in the evening. It's like that John Denver song. Thank God I'm a country boy. You know that song?
Sure. John Denver's, no, I just know the West Virginia. Isn't that his song?
Yeah. Almost heaven.
I love that.
West Virginia.
Mumford and Sons.
Yeah.
I remember you. We were having a discussion about Mumford and Sons, and I expressed at the time I didn't like them.
Yeah. Okay.
You were like, "You're crazy.
You are crazy if you don't like them."
You said it sends my mind on a journey.
Yeah.
I'll never forget that. And I've actually spent time with Mumford and Sons since then.
Really?
And really connected. Like,
the
album
awesome.
in one sitting. I think it was on a drive. And I was like, I loved the experience.
Yeah. It's to me, there's people out there who produce music that give me the same kind of feeling that a good movie gives me. In the sense of like it tells a story, it moves, it has good pace, it has variation, but it's still in its own. It exists in its own world, and there are albums out there that do that. Like people call them concept albums. I don't think Mumford and Son is putting out concept albums. At least the like Babel, the one you're probably talking about, the album Babel, or Babel. They say Babel because I think they're from the UK.
Sure. UK. Yeah. Okay.
But so like each one of those albums feels like it contains like theories on life that all like work together. And so it's nice. And they have a religious spiritualism about them that I can connect with. There are bands out there that I don't think everything that is every person that is faith-based has to do faith-based things. But I think you should live out your faith accordingly. But like, just because you're a Christian doesn't mean you got to be a Christian artist. Like, you are a Christian artist by in nature by being a Christian and an artist.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean you have to produce things that fit the whatever it is, the Christian industry.
Like a podcast with no language. That's not what I'm doing.
Right.
Content.
Yeah, but man, I said some bad words today, Collin.
Which
I'm have to atone for, I think.
I can I can do some bleep action,
Bleep action. Mm-hmm.
But it was funny. It was a really funny opening.
I know. It came in hot. With the big words. Well, okay, so like,
fuck off.
Yeah. Oh yeah, well, yeah. Language is interesting to me. I've had an often on again relationship with foul language. I definitely have a code of ethics when it comes to swearing.
Yes.
There's my faith dictates that regardless of where I'm at and what I'm doing, it's my job to live at peace with people. As much as it says, as much as it is in your ability or in your control, be at peace with one another. Like, I'm not here to cause strife in anybody. And there's other scriptures that say stuff like, I won't cause my brother to stumble. And so like within the context of the faith community, like there's definitely certain things that people react really strongly to. And language is one of those things. And so I do tailor when and how I use language. And I try to be intentional with it. But I think it's fun. To, come in hot with some F-bombs, man. It's hilarious. Yeah. So I don't know. Well, I guess we'll talk off air.
Right.
About how egregious I was with it and how comfortable I might be. I might have to beg and plead.
Yeah, absolutely.
For an edit. And you can have a director's cut.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man. Nah, dude, this is really good. I do miss talking with you, man. You have the kind of energy and personality that inspires other people to get like boisterous and like jubilant and all these like big cool words that like you're fun to say. Fun is just very small limiting word. It can mean anything. But like if anybody listening to this podcast doesn't actually know Collin personally, Collin is the most jubilant, joyful, gleeful person when he's around people and you're in the mode. Like it's like it's what do you call it? It's inspirational.
For
Is one
sure.
word. But it's also like a contagious. That's the word I was looking for. Contagious.
Contagious.
Yeah. And you bring that out in me because I feel like I'm naturally that person, and I've suppressed that person for a long time that I don't.
Wow.
Yeah. And so I had a whole life before I lived in Michigan, and it was characterized by other things, right? It's a different phase of life. But I was a lot more outgoing and gregarious and personable and loud.
Sure.
So you like being around you it's helpful for me because it keeps me in that mindset that it's whimsy, dude. I like to say I'm a pursuer of all things whimsy.
Yeah. And I love you for that because I had no nerves entering this podcast today. And I can't say that with every guest. I felt excitement and comfortable
yeah,
on this
bud.
podcast with you. I did.
Yeah, dude. Like, yeah, it's good. I like
yeah.
Collin, I like you, bud.
Yeah, I like you too.
Did we just have a moment?
Yeah. Bro.
Are we best friends?
Dude,
because I wouldn't let you do the same bits to me over and over again.
That's true.
You would come at me with the same stuff, and I'm like, man, give me some fresh stuff, bro.
Yeah. You would.
Yeah, that was funny the first time.
Right.
And dude, I remember you getting pissed off because I said I had done it a couple times to you.
Yeah.
Like, walk off. I'm like, I'm just making you better, Collin.
Exactly,
and making you better.
And it did. I've taken that to heart, and
awesome.
I've discussed those moments with David Brown.
Oh yeah, cool.
Because you have given me critique in that way of like, hey, I've seen it before. Definitely a vital in my learning curve when it came to how to the creativity you can have when making people laugh.
Yeah. But see, I feel like I'm a good David Spade to your Farley.
Yes. Yeah.
I think, but see, here's a testament to your personality and your resolve, because there's like, I wasn't trying to do anything profound. Like, I wasn't thinking like, I'm going to mold this guy and give him something that he can use. Like, I never had that thought, right? It's more just like, I knew you well enough to know that you would receive it. You might not like it, but I think you would receive it. Yeah. And if it did anything for you, you'd figure it out. Like, it was just me being a bro in the moment and not letting you be like.
Yes.
Yeah.
You be like you, and I love that you were comfortable enough to do that, because you could have pity laughed it off.
Yeah, I don't like being pity laughing. I don't like people pity laughing me.
Yes.
And I don't like pity laughing people because it doesn't serve anybody.
No.
Yeah.
If it's not funny,
it's not funny. Yeah, why do it?
Yeah.
But dude, okay, so like Jerry Seinfeld famously goes around and does his old bits.
Sure.
Like, he doesn't create new bits all the time. I think he's got a new special out. I haven't checked that yet. But
it's great.
Is it good? Is it fresh?
Some old stuff, but strongest opening I have seen in a special. And I've kept up with Dalia Segura. Chrysler. Mark Maron, I got halfway through and turned off, unfortunately.
Mark Maron, I like. Mark Maron is like a good push against my like ethic and morality.
Sure.
And like,
okay.
He like, it's not like I don't totally disagree with him on a lot of things he says. I mean, we're all different, so we all have different fundamental values. But I like hearing alternative perspectives.
Yes.
I'm not afraid of people's ideas, and I'm secure enough where I'm at to know that I'm not going to be just swept away by something else.
Yeah.
And so, like, he's one of those guys that's like pushes against you a little bit. And Joe Rogan does the same thing.
Same, yeah.
I started listening to Pete Holmes
Yes.
Pete Holmes has a very like similar like upbringing and like background, and even like into marriage life, like those perspectives that were really dictated by other institutions, not necessarily like authentic things. And so I gravitated towards him, but it's hard for me to follow him and check with him on everything. And so it got to a point where it's like, I don't know. It was like, because I'm so connected to what he's been through. But it's hard for me to reconcile where he's at now.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's his one. Yeah. It's what he's doing. And I got another one. I'm knocking him down, man. It's gonna be a nightly battle, though. I tell you that. But yeah. Mark Maron's good. Rogan's good. Pete Holmes is good. I think people should listen to Pete Holmes.
I saw this documentary that had to do with like Christian comedy or Christian something. I think it was faith-based, and Pete Holmes was just in it, and I was like, what? This is the only recognizable face in this documentary.
Truly, yeah.
And but that's where I discovered his upbringing and the knowledge he would spit of Christianity. I was like, oh, that's like true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just where he's at now. Like, I could see myself like not gravitating towards those things, but like accepting some of the things he's saying. And I have to be like authentic in what I believe. And there's some things I just can't like assimilate, you know? True. And so like, and it grieves me a little bit because I want to be able to listen to him, but sometimes it's just like, I just can't. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah.
And Mark Maron did that same thing to me. I'm not apolitical, but I don't land in any real group. Probably because I'm an artist and I'm super creative and I take things very seriously and I don't want to be labeled, you know. But whatever it is, I don't fall in too politically on any party line or anything like that. In fact, I'm kind of anti-party. But where was I going with this?
No, I am. That political view is also mine. I don't feel that I am Republican.
Right.
I've never voted. I
wow.
voted up until now, which I intend to this year. That was also because I had an Oregon driver's license and was registered in Oregon, but lived in Michigan.
Yeah,
so
I
yeah.
Are we getting an audio loop?
What was that?
I thought I was hearing some feedback.
Oh,
so it's good. It's all right. Might be on my earphones. It's fine.
Oh.
I want the audio good for you and the listeners.
Yeah, well, at the same time, something like happened outside my window, so I got distracted.
People getting shot?
People listening in.
Probably just like a bunch of people like hi and be like, "Hey, man, those guys sound cool."
Samwise Gamgee.
I wasn't dropping no weeds, I swear.
Yeah.
I heard something about a ring and a Dark Lord and things.
Yeah.
I might be able to find a purpose for you yet.
Right.
Bilbo Baggins. That's my favorite. I got a little bit of an Ian McKellen.
Yeah.
You shall not pass.
Yeah. You were Matthew McConaughey was not too bad. There was an aspect to it that I was like, if you tweak that a little bit, you get it.
Well, what I like to do with McConaughey is because he's so cerebral, right? And he's in Texas.
Right.
In Texas, they want to talk big.
Yeah.
So they get the big mouth. And he's got a little bit of like, he hits to the top of his mouth with his tongue, so it gets a little bit of that yes in there.
Yeah.
But when I do Matthew McConaughey, I like to say, I'm just a small speck out in the great expanse of the stars in the sky, and I feel like I'm a small person. But then I feel like, you know what? Everything's all right. I get the tempo. I feel like I got the tempo and the rhythm. And every once in a while, I really feel like I hear McConaughey.
Yeah.
But it's not there yet. It's not there. It's almost
right.
There.
He sits back on his voice a lot more. And
baby. He's like way back here. He's always relaxed. He's always doing something. I'm from the South, so I can get it going.
You are. That's true.
Yeah. Well, sort of.
No. Oh, yeah.
My father was in the military. I grew up being a Marine Corps brat.
Wow.
I was actually born overseas in Okinawa, Japan. As
Were
a
you
result,
really?
yeah, we were stationed over. Well, they got orders to go over, and my middle sister and myself were born in Japan, in Okinawa, on base. So I am an American citizen. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Proud to be an American. No, and so yeah, but I was a year old when we got new orders.
Sure.
So we moved to California after that. So I didn't get to experience any of the Japanese culture, which I'm super intrigued by. Like it's something I'd like to go overseas and visit. Like I want to visit. I like visiting big cities. I feel energy from like I love New York. Like I'm not the cliche T-shirt wearer, but like I've been a few times, and it's been like I like the energy there.
Yeah.
Like there's a purpose to everything, and people like get from A to B, and like they're on task. It just feels like New York is always like everybody's moving, trucking.
True.
Right. I've been to LA, and I do not like LA.
I was just going to combat that with the only big city that I've been to. Well, I've been to Chicago. I lived in Chicago for 2 months, but
da Bears.
I've been in LA 2 times, twice, and loved it. Mm-hmm. I felt great energy. Like when I'm there, I'm like my every fiber knows that I'm in LA. You know what I'm saying? I know, right. I can feel it. I'm buzzing.
Like, yeah, yeah. I hear you. I get it, and I feel like I don't know what it is about New York. I think it is that whole like A to B, like really structured life. Like there's no real room for error, in the day to day. And then but then the hangout is like cool because like everybody is chill because they've been busy all day.
Yeah,
and so it's like work, and then relax and hang out, and it just seems like that kind of town. Whereas like LA just felt like the town, and it might be just my own predisposition to these things, but it just seemed like the town, it's like everybody's trying to appear a certain way and like show off in a certain way.
Yeah.
And it seems like there's not as much authenticity in that town. And New York seems very authentic. It's like it is what it is. Whereas LA seems like people are putting up fronts, and they are. I mean, it's the industry. Everybody's scrambling for a spot, scrambling for a shot, and it's like it's a town of desperation. It's a town of power.
Yeah,
it's like all those things. And I feel like what's that?
Of deceit.
Yeah, and I feel like I get sensitive to that stuff, and it's like I get those vibes, and I don't like being in that kind of a place. It just feels. But you go 2.5 hours south. What do you call it? The Surfliner. You take the Surfliner from LA to San Diego, and you go there, and that place is super chill. I love San Diego. It's crazy. Yeah, dude. Next time, like, go to SoCal, feel out SoCal. That's what I like.
Yeah.
But I also heard like Long Beach. I have a buddy who's from Long Beach, which is just outside of LA, and he's like, it's totally different there. Like it's like what LA wants to be, but like they're too like wrapped up in things. So yeah, it's really interesting. I'd like to go out to Long Beach, check that out, because
of course, same.
Obviously at some sorry, mosquitoes. Obviously at some point, I'll probably end up doing something in the industry out that way. So like I can't hate on LA, but it's not going to be a place that I want to probably reside unless things change, right? But
it would cost me $90 one way to drive to Los Angeles from where I'm at right now.
And that's not bad, dude.
14 to 16 hours it would be.
All right, so where I'm at in Michigan to where I used to live in North Carolina is 16 hours.
Oh, damn. Cool.
Yeah. So I'm in northern Michigan, and so it must be from where you're at. We might be on the same, like, what is it, longitude lines?
Potentially. I feel like you would match up more with Washington.
Washington. Okay, where are you at?
That's above me. Oregon.
You're Oregon, right? But like where at in Oregon?
Salem, which is towards the top, west.
Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah.
Portland, the border from Washington into
Yeah,
Oregon.
Portland's a border town, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you have shoot. Is it Montreal, Washington? There's like a Canadian sounding name, like city, just outside where it's like so Portland is its own
Vancouver.
thing.
Vancouver, Washington.
Thank you. Vancouver.
Yep.
Vancouver, Washington is the headquarters for all thing like tech right now. Like it's a huge like
really
not in the Silicon Valley sense, in like the digital online sense. There's a lot of stuff like because I'm in marketing.
Yes.
Digital marketing and web development, and there's a lot of stuff in Vancouver.
Sure.
For that. So yeah, that's where the industry is big there, and you have Silicon Valley for tech. Yeah,
it's an hour and a half from me. Yeah.
Well, I like the industry I am in. There's definitely some things we were taught by like we had some really great instructors at Compass. Like I don't feel like any of that time was wasted. I feel like I went there to learn about the industry, not necessarily to get the degree.
Yeah.
And I feel like it definitely gave me what I wanted in that way. I mean, it was an imperfect system run by imperfect people at the time.
Yep.
I know there's been a regime change, and I've walked in there now after the regime change, and I told remember Liz Merriman?
Yeah.
I told her, I was like, just walking through here and like experiencing this again, like it feels happier and not as like weighty as it just felt like some days you're just trudging through the bog,
right?
Like, just weighed down by the energy that's happening behind the scenes, like by the staff and such. But now it's like a really good thing, and I would like to even get more involved with Compass at this stage. So good stuff there.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep in contact for sure.
Yeah, it's good, and like the alumni system there is getting a lot better. Like they're paying a lot more attention to it. I know Liz is part of that.
Yes.
And she's put a lot of attention and energy into it, and that's been cool.
For sure.
That engagement that way. Yeah.
Yes.
So I like where the school is. I like the industry I'm in. I definitely learned a lot. It's really interesting. There's a lot of parallels in marketing, but there's some really extreme fundamental differences when you're producing video content for marketing purposes versus a film. And it's really easy to tell the difference because if you watch a trailer to a really shitty movie, that market, like a really good trailer for a really bad movie.
Yeah.
Usually, like what's the rule of thumb? If the trailer really gets you and you're hyped on it, potentially there's a good chance it's not a great film.
Which happens to be the pattern that continue. I fall into that every time.
Yeah, hyped. But then you see stuff like Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh yes.
So to me, that was a really cool situation in the entertainment communities and society as a whole, that like held the fire to the content producer.
Yes.
And said, this is unacceptable.
Right.
And it because this is an egregious thing that you did, and it was unnecessary. And so, but they took it to heart and they changed it. And to me, it was like it's the industry responding to the fan base, the way I believe it ought to always.
So thank you so much to Jonathan Garlinghouse for being my 17th episode. I love you, and I wish you the best on your future endeavors. And I totally consider you to be a potential collaborator with me. So.
Dude, like I feel the same about you. Like, I mean, you're blowing up on some places.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't mind riding that hype chain a little bit.
Oh, totally. That's where my heart's at. Is I would love to be a platform and lift peers as well.
And vice versa. Same here. I would want to come back. is what I'm
Totally.
saying.
Every episode I've done, I already need a part 2. So
awesome. Well, you can have a part 3. We can make a Pirates of the Caribbean franchise out of this.
Totally.
Okay.
Fast and Furious. Freaking.
Let's go to
Land Before Time.
Oh, or the new Star Wars saga. Like we have 9 episodes now.
Right.
I mean, not all of them are going to be good, but hey, maybe we can get 9 episodes. Collin, I love you too, dude. You're like one of my favorite people to always talk to. Seriously, just to wrap this up. I love you.
Absolutely.
I want to be here. I like being here. So
yeah.
Thank you for being my F word.
Yeah. My
friend.
Well, you're a friend. Yeah.
My friend.
Hell yeah, dude. Stay safe. Peace.
You too.